Hey everybody, TYT Sports, talking more boxing with Robert Exel, the editor-in-chief of boxing.com. Robert, how are you today? Are you ready for Saturday's fight? Are you ready for the Pacquiao-Bradley fight?
I'm as ready as I'm going to be. How about yourself?
I mean, I think I'm ready for it. We were talking before we went on. Manny Pacquiao, you know, it's his 30th title fight, his 60th total fight in his career, 17th under Freddie Roach. He is the current WBO welterweight champion. And then Timothy Bradley comes into the picture. He's 28-0 for a reason. He hasn't convinced me, at least in the win over Devin Alexander. I mean, again, Pacquiao, a 4-1 favorite in his last few fights. Let's just focus on the first. He fought against Marquez in their trilogy fight, and many people were left with a sour taste in their mouth that Manny Pacquiao, that is, did not win this fight. And I, for one, still believe Juan Manuel Marquez won that fight that night. But going to their track record, I mean, what can you say about Tim Bradley and the opponents that he has fought compared to Manny Pacquiao?
There's no comparison between the men that the two fighters have fought. If you look at Bradley's resume, and sort of move back, I mean, he fought Joel Casamayor, he fought Devin Alexander, he fought Junior Witter, he fought Kendall Holt. I mean, none of these guys are named fighters. Granted, Devin Alexander had a great fight in his last outing against Marcos Maidana, but nobody of the caliber of the fighters that Pacquiao has been fighting over the years.
One name that you did leave out, however, was Lamont Peterson. Now, with all the accusations that are going on with him, he's still a quality opponent, and until he is totally proven guilty, he still beat Amir Khan. Now, their rematch is obviously off, but getting back to this, I would argue, however, that Manny Pacquiao's opponents, the ones that he faced, the Antonio Margaritos, the Shane Mosleys, the Ricky Hattons, the Oscar De La Hoyas, those sorts of opponents, none of them were in their prime. Would you say that Tim Bradley is in his prime?
I would say that Tim Bradley is in his prime. I mean, again, he's undefeated. He doesn't know how to lose, hasn't lost yet, gets knocked down, gets up, always in perfect shape, always comes to fight. But I think the fact that he always comes to fight is going to be part of what the problem is. I don't know that he can adjust his style once he tastes Manny's power, and that's going to sort of be the tipping point in this bout.
He also fought Andre Berto and Alfredo Angulo as an amateur. It's just his second fight at 147 pounds. You were talking about his style. What style is that? What does he bring?
Come forward, often head first. As you know, he uses his head as effectively as Evander Holyfield has used his head during his career. A couple of his major fights have gotten stopped because of cuts. So Bradley is a sort of a head-first, come-forward fighter. I don't know that he can adjust his style to sort of dance circles around Pacquiao. I mean, that remains to be seen.
And it appears, Robert, that the blueprint against Manny Pacquiao, as Juan Manuel Marquez brilliantly displayed in their last fight, their final fight of their trilogy, as we said, was counterpunching. What kind of counterpunching skills does Tim Bradley possess?
Well, it remains to be seen. I mean, that is the blueprint for beating Pacquiao. But again, if Marquez didn't get a decision when he won at least 2 of the 3 fights, as everyone alleges, how exactly would a fighter like Tim Bradley get a decision? Is he disciplined enough? Is he skilled enough? Is he enough of a virtuoso, as is Marquez, to really sort of fight that fight?
How exactly do you think he will win this fight, Tim Bradley, that is? I mean, we can say that his counterpunching skills are not totally evident. He is a come-forward fighter, and most of those come-forward fighters, a la Ricky Hatton, a la Antonio Margarito, have either been knocked out or needed surgery on their retinas. I mean, how exactly is he going to win this fight?
I don't know that he's going to be able to win this fight. I don't even know that it was in the cards for him to win this fight. I'm not sure that Bob Arum would have brought Tim Bradley into the top rank, the big top over a top rank as a fighter, and specifically as an opponent for Pacquiao. I'm not sure that he is going to win this fight, and I'm not even sure what he can do to win this fight, to be perfectly frank.
I mean, would you totally rule him out, though, from winning this fight? Would you be totally shocked if he walked away with a decision?
I would be shocked if he were to walk away from with a decision. I mean, one So that old phrase, he's got a puncher's chance, doesn't even really apply to Bradley because he doesn't even have the power. So I'm not so sure how he's going to walk away with a decision unless it's so lopsided that the judges have no choice but to give it to the opponent, being Bradley. But, I mean, how lopsided would it have to be that the judges are going to go against the house fighter?
Well, it seems to be a trend from many of the blogs and articles that I have read, and even on ESPN.com, to name drop one that is well known. Many have said that Tim Bradley is going to walk away with a close decision, and there will be a rematch, maybe in November, maybe a bit earlier or later. What do you say to that?
Well, I'd say it's an interesting idea. I sometimes wonder what sport they're watching. I've been wrong. Will be wrong again. Maybe wrong as well. But it remains to be seen exactly what will happen, and I don't quite understand how they've reached that conclusion based upon the two men's history. Is it because of the distractions in Pacquiao's corner? He had distractions in his last fight. He had distractions in this fight. But once you're in the ring, I mean, the distractions sort of fall by the wayside. It's just a man opposite you wanting to take your head off. I mean, that's the game, and as you know, it's a deadly game, and Pacquiao comes to fight, as does Bradley, which is why people are looking forward to this fight. But why they're leaning to Bradley is beside me.
One thing that could go in Tim Bradley's favor is that Manny Pacquiao in his last few fights has suffered from leg cramps. Now, we don't know exactly what the cause is. Freddie Roach has said that it's basketball and he doesn't want him playing any more basketball prior to his fights. And Freddie Roach was even quoted as saying, if Manny looks bad, I'm going to ask him to retire. Is that his trainer trying to get him up, trying to pick up his fighter to bring his A game against what seems like a solid opponent?
Well, it's a possibility. I mean, Freddie says what Freddie says. He's a cheerleader, and he's like a PR agent for Manny. Not that he doesn't know boxing, and not that he's like a really terrific guy and an excellent trainer. But, I mean, he's there to sort of say what he needs to say to sort of build up the gate, to build up his fighter, and and I don't know that Manny's going to do what Freddie says necessarily. I mean, it's interesting that Freddie Roach even bring up the idea of retirement. But as we know, retirement has been spoken of with Pacquiao in the past. And if he were to lose this fight, maybe he'll just devote his time to politics, which seems to be where his future is going to be.
So Pacquiao Bradley, HBO pay-per-view, MGM Grand, Saturday night in Las Vegas, Nevada. How do you see it ending? Do you see it being a knockout? Do you see it being a decision? You've already said you think Pacquiao's going to win. How is he going to do it?
I think the ref steps in, maybe the 8th, 9th, 10th round, and stops it, only because Bradley's getting battered. Perhaps he'd been knocked down a few times, and the ref stops it early. That's my call.
There you have it. Robert Exel, the editor-in-chief of Boxing.com. You can follow him on Twitter at boxing_com and follow his writing at www.boxing.com. Robert, thank you so much for the time, and we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good. Thank you, Rick.